Hello Interface users. We've been asked a lot this question. What is the most efficient way to display a list of PDFs in Intuiface? Let's try to answer this with a very basic sample using a list of PDFs and thumbnails as images we will use in the list before loading the actual PDF. Actually, this is going to make the experience much more performant. The scene will be quicker to load because you only load a bunch of images and then you only load the PDF at the moment the user requires it. To do so, I built a very basic Excel catalog that will list my brochures, my PDFs. So as you can see here, very basic structure. Each PDF has a title, a link to the PDF file, which are here next to my Excel file, and a link to my thumbnails, the images I will use in the list. You could do the same thing with a CMS, with REST-based web services. That's the same mechanism. So let's import the Excel file. We will, yes please, import the data with it. And that's the default template created by Intuiface. As we just said, in the list, we are not going to display the document itself, right? We'll just use the image asset to display as the thumbnail. So let me adjust this template a little bit. Let's go with the center text and reduce the size of our template. So we have a nice list with our brochures. I will remove the animation for the video recording and these indicators. The main mechanism is the notion of placeholder. So when I click on one of these images, I will fill in a placeholder. I will dynamically change the source of my placeholder to display the right PDF, so only one PDF is loaded at a time. So I'm adding a document asset here in the scene. Let's make it bigger. And just so we know what we're talking about, I'll rename it placeholder document. Okay. Now, what we want to do is that each time a user clicks on one of these items in the list, on these thumbnails, I want to dynamically change the content of this PDF. So let's do that with a simple trigger. When the template here is tapped, you could use a button instead. Then on my placeholder, I want to do something on the document and I want actually to change the document. I'm using a data feed here, Excel, so I'm going to retrieve the document using a binding. And from my current data feed, I will retrieve the link to the PDF. Okay, close, close, one trigger, one action, and actually we're done, right? For the first step of this video. So let's hit play and test what it does. So if I click on brochure 1, I have PDF 1 which is loaded. I can scroll the PDF pages and see, yeah, it looks to be PDF number 1. If I go to brochure 4, PDF 4 is loaded. I can scroll, seems to be the right PDF. So we're good, right? That's one way of presenting it, of implementing this placeholder mechanism. When I work on projects for customers, what I like to do is to make sure the user is going to focus on this document and to put this into a kind of a pop-up. So let's do this quickly. So it gives you another idea, step 2 of creating this PDF browsing mechanism. I will just add a new layer. I'm going to rename it document pop-up layer. Yeah. I will just move these PDFs in my new layer. To make sure that it looks like a pop-up, I will add a background. So I'll do something fairly simple here. Rectangle shape, full screen. There we go. Fill color, 80% of opacity. So we still have a notion of what's behind it, what's behind the pop-up. We keep some context. And I will put it at the bottom of the layer. So obviously we see our document on top of it. Let's make the document bigger. And I will just need a close button. So we'll use, among the design accelerators, my white close button here, which obviously the graphic designer would want to redesign and to make things much prettier, but at least this works for a markup. It's more than enough. So on this close button, what we want to do is to hide all the content of this layer. So we can do that in one single action. Just call an action on the layer itself and say hide. So the layer will be hidden by default. Now that we have more real estate here, we could have maybe a bigger collection with bigger items. So we can scroll through them when selecting a brochure. It already changes the content of the PDF. Now the only thing we need to do on the same trigger and action, at the same time we change the document, we want to add another action to show our pop-up, show the layer. So document pop-up layer, show. We're good. Let's test the second version of the placeholder mechanism. So I'm in play mode now. I can scroll in my collection, look at the different thumbnails. Maybe let's select this brochure 2. I have PDF 2, which appears now in my pop-up. If I scroll the pages, yeah, that fits. That's the right brochure. I can close the pop-up, navigate to another one. Let's go with the yellow taxi, brochure 6, PDF 6 is displayed, and we see the right content. Thanks for watching this video. If you want to learn more, make sure you read the Help Center article about using this placeholder mechanism. You will see that we have more steps if you want to go deeper in this mechanism and have more flexible content.